This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust that today this will be like a vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. It will enable others to be able to locate this podcast. Today I want to talk about goal setting for those who don't like to set goals. There is a group of people, maybe earlier in my life, I may have been partially in this camp, of those who are just sort of opposed to setting goals. There are lots of reasons. Some of them are personality. Others of them may be you just don't see the purpose and the reason for doing so. But the fact of the matter really is, a goal properly set is halfway reached, said Zig Ziglar. In other words, what he was indicating was that it takes some thought, some planning, some really taking stock or evaluating yourself, where you're gifted, what is important to you, what really gets you excited and motivated. And if you just determine a goal and set a goal, begin to plan and dream and work toward that, just the declaring the goal, writing it down, looking at it, thinking about it, meditating on it, is almost halfway to the point. The reason I think there's an overarching reason why you ought to have some goal or dreams that you're working on, is the fact, if not, you will begin helping others reach their goals and their dreams. You either work toward those that you feel strongly about, or someone will enlist you to help them. The difficulty with that is they don't come up to you and say, I'm enlisting you. But if you don't have a purpose or a drive or a goal that you're working on, they will bring you to work on them. You know, it's not the goal that really matters. It's the subject matter of the goal. It's not just to click something off of a to-do list or to write down somewhere, I achieved such and such a goal. It's what goes into that goal. The effort, the thinking, the creativity, the enlisting of others, the setting some priorities, and being diligent about reaching them. All of the stuff, all of the material that goes into setting and, more importantly, achieving a goal will work on your character, will work on your habits, will help you to be a more disciplined person. So don't just, if you're one of those that says, I'm not really interested in achieving a goal, don't so much focus on the goal, but the process of getting there will make you a better person. It will stretch, help, enable, and enlarge your ability to do certain things. Let me just randomly talk about some of the things that go into effective goal setting. The first is you just have to have a deadline. You have to have a deadline. You know, it was Napoleon Hill who said a goal is a dream with a deadline. And if you don't have a deadline, in fact, my friends, it's not even a dream, it's a pipe dream. It's not even a very robust daydream. Everybody has dreams and thoughts that wander through their mind, but you have to have a deadline. You can't say, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to do this other thing, without setting a deadline. Deadlines motivate us. Deadlines give it some sense of urgency that you need and that the clock is ticking and I must move on. Right now in the lexicon of the human language, SMART goals, at least in the English language, make an acrostic. And you don't have to be in leadership very long to realize leaders love acrostics and little pithy statements and little quotable phrases. And SMART goals are specific for the S. M, they are measurable. A, they are attainable. R, they are relevant. And then the T is they are time-bound. Let's talk about it for a moment. One of the reasons people are never able to achieve the goal or make it happen in their life is it's not specific enough. Their life is sort of a wandering generality. You got to get specific, whether that involves so many widgets sold, so much money made, so much money saved, so many books read, so many graduate degree received, a weight loss program, a blood pressure reading, and a place that I'm going to go on vacation. A goal can be anything and should cover every area of our lives, but it has to be specific. It's not enough to say, my goal is to be a nice person. Well, that's an admirable goal, but how are you going to do that, and how will you know that you have achieved your goal of being a nice person? I want to be able to retire someday. Again, my mantra is someday is not on the calendar. You need to give it a deadline. It needs to be specific. So if you go through this exercise with me, and you're going to look at a goal or some goals for certain areas of your life, it's not really a goal if it isn't something specific, not just specific to you, but as you share it with someone else, they would specifically understand what it is you are desiring to have. Now, along with specific is the second letter in SMART goals, and that is the M, which stands for measurable. If you're going to lose X amount of pounds, then you have to back your way back to today and begin measuring that weekly or monthly or however you're going to do that. If you're going to get out of debt, then you need to commit, I'm going to pay this much debt off, and begin measuring it. If I'm going to save for retirement, I'm going to add 1% to it every month. Something that is measurable, not I'm going to save for retirement, I'm going to pay off debt, or I'm going to lose weight. They're not specific enough. And how do you measure something that isn't specific? Specific and measurable are going to hold you accountable. The third, which is the letter A in the SMART goals, is attainable. Now, don't think this means easy. But what this is saying is that it's in the realm of possibility. Regardless of how you think your metabolism is, it is within the realm of possibility that you can lose weight. It is in the realm of possibility that you can cut your debt, save for retirement, read through the Bible, get a degree, get married, have children, retire in a home somewhere of your dreams. All of those things are attainable. But if I had a goal to be a ballerina, that's not realistic or attainable for me. I'm too large, I don't dance, and it's just not attainable. Not only is it not attainable, it's not anything I particularly aspire to. I think you have to be somewhat careful of setting a goal that takes other people's vote to get you there. I think it's a nice thing we tell our children that anyone can be president of the United States. But in a country of well over 300 million, we only have one president at a time. I think it would be better to say, I'm going to be an effective leader, and I'm going to do that by, and then list 4 or 5 things. Attainable really means if it's up to me, I can do that. Now, it's physiologically probably not possible for me to be a ballerina, but other things are attainable. Now, again, don't hear me saying it's easy or it's automatic, and attainable does not mean it isn't going to cause you to stretch and grow and hustle and really work. And then the fourth letter, the letter R, is relevant, meaning if you reach this goal, will it change your life, your family's life, the world's life? Is it congruent with your philosophy, your theology, your viewpoint? Is it something you're willing to give a major portion of your life toward? Only you can answer that question, but you'll not be able to meet a goal and exceed the goal if you don't see it as relevant. And then the last letter, the letter T in SMART, stands for time bound. As long as it is specific, as it needs to be both specific and measurable, it also needs to have a deadline. It needs to be time bound. You know when you're going to retire. You know what is a reasonable yet an aggressive time frame to get in shape. Whatever it may be, put a time limit on it. You will not achieve goals if you do not have a sense of urgency. And making it a date certain is a way of creating urgency. The next thing that I would say is goals, you really need to write it down. I say this about many things, but it is so true. There just seems to be something mystical that happens between a sheet of paper and a pen and your hand and your heart and your mind. It just seems to happen. And state it when you write it down positively. More like, I'm going to lose so many pounds and be much healthier. Don't focus so much on the losing as you do on being positive. You've heard me talk enough about small steps in that so much we focus on the negativity, but focus on the positive steps that you need to take to reach your goal. I believe after you have determined what your goals are in areas of your life, the next thing you need to do is determine what are the next steps that are needed. If it is eliminating debt, are you going to use a debt snowball? Do you have your credit cards and your outstanding bills before you so you know which one you're going to attack first, and then take all of the rest of the money and pay the minimums, and then it just sort of snowballs? You eliminate one debt. You have to determine what your next steps is. You're going to get healthy. Are you going to join a gym? Are you going to ride a bicycle? Do you have a home gym? How are you going to change your eating patterns? You need to write those down. Don't leave them to chance. You have to determine what your next steps are. You can't change your direction overnight, but you can change. You can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction today. You can't undo everything that's happened over a lifetime, but you can change the direction you're headed right now if you'll make that decision. I think there are several areas in which you would want to consider for setting goals. Spiritually, if you're a person of faith, this is very important. Family, financial, I've already talked about. Health, I've talked about. I meet people who really need to have some attitude goals of getting out of a negative funk and a pessimistic outlook on life. Maybe there are some educational goals. If you are to the point that you'd like to get a university degree, that would be wonderful. But I think all of us need some lifelong learning goals as well. One of the other things that I want to mention here when you're doing goal-oriented sort of things is you really need to build a system. Find a way where you're going to store this information, how you're going to build these good habits and good exercises into your life, and how all of that is specifically going to happen. And then I try to build in a reward. Reward should follow the positive action, whether it's the ultimate reaching of the goal or you've reached significant amounts of them enough that you give yourself a goal. It doesn't have to be a brand new car or house. It can be something rather simple as well. But I believe you should be, my leadership friends, setting goals. I remember a statement that I heard Seth Godin make, that everybody has their own Mount Everest they were put on earth to climb. My leadership friend, we need you to be in the game. We need you to be doing all of that which God created for you to do, and you can do it. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this has been like a vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And again, wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a rating and a brief written review. Remember, my leadership friend, you are doing better than you think you are. You really are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.